Things were going great at the end of the last video, linked in the description and comments. Then logged on, and one single hour made me regret playing Project 1999. Now, I don't want to seem like a loser, but man, I miss how much easier the time lock progression servers are. I mean, I can already see it now. I guarantee there'll be a comment where a classic EQ player calls me a whiner. Back in my day, we had to use dial-up to play. Had to get off the internet to make a phone call. You youngins have it so easy now. Hey, I remember those days. I was old enough. It sounded like the Matrix whenever you went online. I don't know how I did it, but I got proof I can handle P99. Level 59 Bard right here on blue, but I think I suck now. As a reminder, there will be real-life consequences if I die, and these videos are trying to give EverQuest the respect it deserves but doesn't get in the MMO genre. I started off actually reading my comments, like a good YouTuber. You know, I deserve a pat on the head for that. Except, there was one commenter who really deserves it. I'm not able to find who you are, but please post here if it was you, because thank you, this was incredible. In my experience, quests suck. If quests could give you negative experience on modern servers, they would. I think it's because people used them so much and exploited them to such a degree that they got nerfed to oblivion. The developers were mad. But on P99, they're worth your time. Let's keep up this rhyme, or not. Reminds me of roses are red, violets are blue. Some poems rhyme, others don't. So I tried this quest out, and questioned why I even tried to kill to get levels 1 through 5. I am shocked sometimes by the comments I see. I think there's this perception of, Ion Blaze, oh, he knows everything about EQ, and he's the best bard ever to play. No, not at all. I would not want to go on EverQuest Jeopardy with y'all, and I am not the best bard. Just out of the players I know, there's like 3 to 4 people who play bard better than me, let alone the random player base. I'm just the guy who gets the most attention playing this class. And while we're talking about Bard, I mentioned last episode that Bards have several quirks. The biggest difference between P99 and the modern versions of the game are convenience. Bards can only be played manually on P99. So Bards can keep up 4 effects at a time, so every 3 seconds, that's how long it takes to cast one, you need to click a button to play the next song, to play a different song. Do that for hours and you'll understand why it sucks. When your group gets to sit down and take a break, you don't get to. That is, if you're trying to maximize what the class can do. And if you're even further trying to maximize a class, you'll even swap out instruments to boost different songs. On TLP and live servers, there's a convenience feature called Melody. The game will automatically play those 4 songs on repeat, so you don't have to. You just have to click the melody button once, and those 4 songs will play infinitely, like driving an automatic car versus a manual. There's still times you'd want to play manual even with melody available, but that's for later on the Yellonak videos. No matter how you play though, or even what class, an MMO mouse is a lifesaver. This footage is played without one, and this footage is playing with one. So much easier. Playing Bard was notorious for giving you carpal tunnel, but it's not the case since using this MMO mouse. But now onto the zone that'll create the 4 regrets. Clan Crushbone is a home of a band of warmongering orcs. It is located directly north of the treetop city of Kelithin, and is the major thorn in the sides of all the inhabitants of the island of Fador. This zone is legendary for its trains. Like I mentioned last video, many mobs are social. They'll gang up if they can. So a group will pull more than they can handle, and watch out. A river of mobs will be running right after you. So people would shout train to give warning and run to the zone line. There's only 2 ways everyone can drop aggro: die or zone. I gotta share this one story I saw on Reddit just about this zone. This particular event happened while I was just trying out the mage class. I was around level 15 and leveling in Crushbone. I was having trouble finding a group, and I was just wandering around killing time waiting for a spot to open, and I went up onto Trainer Hill, and I noticed that you could actually see into the tower of the castle where the two most powerful mobs were. Then I had an idea. I remembered that mages had bolt spells. Bolt spells were nukes that had an extremely long range, but you needed line of sight to your target, and I wondered, would it be possible to shoot a spell from Trainer Hill into the window where the boss mobs were? Yes. Bored and curious, I threw the spell just to see what would happen, and my expectation was that they'd rush out of the castle straight towards me and I'd just run to the zone. No big deal. But Crushbone was infamous for one thing. Absolutely horrible mob pathing. As I waited on the hill watching, nothing seemed to happen. And after some time, I assumed that the bosses had been killed. But soon, I began to see shouts in the zone. Does anyone know why Emperor Crush is running circles inside the castle? Now, there was another odd thing about mob aggro. All the smaller minions of a boss would drop their target and follow the boss. I had the two most powerful mobs in zone trying to attack me, and it meant that every other orc on the way that they passed would drop what they were doing and follow along the horrible pathing to me. And I began to see more and more confused people shouting in the zone, asking why a gigantic train of mobs was running erratically around the castle. And before long, I saw Emperor Crush and about a dozen orcs burst out the castle door and proceeded to start running laps around the outside of the castle. And after a lap or two, I began to get somewhat worried as basically the entire zone erupted in shouts of massive train going somewhere, everyone be careful. Knowing that I was number one on their poop list, I made my way to the zone exit, and I sat there inches from the zone, ready to book it in a hurry, but constantly waiting for the mobs to show. After about 5 minutes, I finally saw Emperor Crush turn the corner, followed by pretty much the entire zone behind him. Needless to say, I bounced, but everyone else in the zone wasn't as prepared. Another odd thing about aggro in EverQuest was that once their primary target was gone, like they died or they left the zone, the mobs would actually wait in place for a few seconds before starting to run back to their spawn points. During this time, if they came across another target, another player, they'd swarm attack them. So this meant that as soon as I had zoned out, all the mobs instantly became hostile to absolutely everyone nearby, and I had dragged every last mob in the zone to the only exit. I wanted to see the damage, so I put on invisibility and zoned back over to a veritable sea of corpses. I played, in quotes, the Good Samaritan role, offering to drag corpses back to the entrance. And since no one knew I was responsible, several people agreed and I brought them back to the entrance, but about 30 feet away from it. Just close enough so that they would all be thankful, but just far enough so as to cause a delay if they needed to get out in a hurry. Once the corpses were collected, people were amassing just outside the zone, waiting for it to be safe. I then climbed back up to Trainer Hill, threw another bolt at my good friend Emperor Crush, and told everyone that the zone entrance was clear. Dozens of people came in to start looting their corpses. Suddenly, the orc squad turned the corner. Following that, enough people created reports that a game master appeared in the zone, a big boss. Nobody suspected me, so I felt just evil enough to pull the stunt one more time. While the GM was busy rezzing everyone, I made another trek up to Trainer Hill, and everyone felt rather safe now that the GM was there, but I don't think the GM was fully prepared for what would happen. He saw the swarm and started to engage them, but once the full force of orcs arrived, he was unable to handle them all fast enough before all the players died again. And when I zoned back into Crushbone, I saw 3 GMs had been brought in to assist, including the head GM for the server. The head GM proceeded to death touch the entire zone, wiping it clean, and announced to the zone that if they caught whoever was doing it again, that they would receive a permanent ban on their account. So back on with my adventure, I found a group late at night, a wizard and 2 rogues, and somehow we managed without a tank or a healer. I got to level 8, which is another big milestone. Bards get access to use stringed instruments and also get a lull song. So stringed instruments will make health regen song and those AoE dots stronger, and the lull song will help me split apart packs when I pull, so I don't have an Omega train like that story. But all hell broke loose when we accidentally pulled 2 Legionnaires, some of the hardest orcs in the zone. So one of the halflings was scuttling his little hairy feet not to get uber smashed. We were only able to kill one, and the other one is full health, so we had to book it. We had to run, but one of the rogues died, unfortunately. After recovery, we tried out the wall camp just outside the castle, and I made use of my new lull song, but it wasn't enough for this crap. There was like 10 Centurions running like Usain Bolt over here, and there was no way to split this clean. Just had to pull as few as possible. And it went okay, but then something went horribly not okay. I used the lull song to split these 2 orcs on the bridge to the castle, and the moment I pulled the Legionnaire, I didn't see the mistake I made. I turned around and just said run to my group. I couldn't get away. This orc warlord was much higher in level and was also Usain bolting around the castle. He just ran out the front door as soon as I pulled the Legionnaire. He joined the fight and we got smoked. And I asked the group, I was curious, did I just not see him? But no, he just booked it out of the castle as soon as he pulled. There was nothing you could have done. So that's death number 1. Not excited for the end of the video. Now to the part that made me really regret playing P99. I wanted to try Orc Hill because there wasn't those crazy pathers like near the castle. And I was able to bring the named orc trainer down the hill, but he was way higher level than me. Every swing, he hit home, he hit hard. And when you're low on health in EverQuest, you start to run even slower, and you also get something called low hit point aggro. Everything will selectively attack you to finish you off. Yeah, this game's a dick. Death number 2. I wasn't even upset about the experience loss or the corpse recovery. I just don't want to get the punishment at the end. But I basically lost all the experience I spent hours trying to get. And this game is demoralizing at times. But it was late at night, the group ended, and at least the night ended okay. So I saw a fan of the channel, Elias, outside of Felwith, the High Elf starting city, and I showed him that mail delivery quest. You'll see Elias here and there on the comments. I actually really appreciate all of you guys for the support that you give. And it's nice to see y'all when I play. So I gave him Bard speed for the run, and I showed him how the quest works. He was level 4, so when he checked his experience bar, it just jumped. So thank you, Elias, and all the commenters for support, because I only found out about that quest because of you. I was not aware of it. Next day, more regret. Got into a group right off the bat at the wall camp, and I saw a rogue I played with the other day. You know, it's a small world here. You'll see a lot of familiar faces. I got revenge on that orc warlord who owned me the prior day, but unfortunately no experience. So in EverQuest, levels really matter when you're in a group. If someone in the group is a lot higher level than you, you won't get experience. They'll steal it all. And I think it's generally a 5 level difference you can have, but it gets wider the higher you get. So the higher level mage, he chose to leave so I could get experience. And it went all good until this Legionnaire. Man, I hate these mobs so much. I had too much aggro and I just couldn't shake it. And it kept swinging for max damage. So when mobs are much higher level than you, they hit a lot harder. It's like they hit for max damage every single time. And that's what happened with the trainer. I just got smoked again. Recovered the corpse, pulled another Legionnaire, and got revenge, but death total's like, what, 3? Wouldn't be the last. I saw a glitch I never heard of. So I was able to pull the Orc Trainer again. Why he's special is because he can drop a shield that's really good for low levels, and it also acts as a light source so you can see better in dark areas. Great for humans, or erudites. Didn't drop it though. We took him out, but really with any of these mobs, I wouldn't be able to kill any of them without a group. It's really a team effort here. And after that, I tried to split with Lol again, and it went totally wrong. So 3 things can happen when you use Lol. It can work, it can resist, or it can critical resist. If that happens, you better run, because it's going to pull aggro of everything. So I saw a bunch of mobs coming right at me, and I decided to book it. But the group chose to fight it out. We killed the lower level orc, and then I saw something I've never seen before. The Legionnaire was beating up First Ludo, the rogue in our group, and it got him all the way down to 0 health. The healer was out of mana, and he looks done for. Then he instantly regens to full health. Nobody healed him. And then we killed the Legionnaire, and I asked if anybody did anything, but no. And then the druid in our group explained that sometimes when bards are using the health regen song, it can bug out and do a full heal. Guess he's seen it a couple times. Should not be able to do this, but somehow it did, and it saved this dude's bacon. Bards for the win, doing stuff I didn't even know they could do. Another pull goes wrong at the same spot. Got a little too close, and everything starts coming, and I decide to book it again. Another train, except the group tries to tough it out again. They get the Legionnaire alone, and I start to kite all the extras are outside the entrance. They kill the Legionnaire, and then I bring the rest over and we mop it all up. And I got to level 9. So I'm just thinking that could be a good strategy for when things get too hairy. Just kite the mass of mobs while the group beats down one at a time. We get an actual tank to join, and things go smooth. We were able to pull another named orc called the Taskmaster. Took him down easy despite him being much higher level than me. Another druid joined and went this tree illusion as a joke. Group was smoking, and it just got better. It's weird how this game swings from disaster to smooth sailing in just like a few minutes. This higher level druid, Mercer, came by to help, and he gave us a damage shield and started to pull all the highest level stuff possible. Damage shields are an effect that hurts mobs when they hit you. High level ones can pretty much do 99% of the work to kill a mob. You just have to land at least 1 hit or 1 point of damage to get experience for the kill. So wave after wave of mobs are brought in and die to the damage shields. Thank you for the help, Mercer. I go sell, and the group moves into the Throne Room camp. It is the highest level camp in the zone. Everything is going good until Ambassador Devin, the hardest mob in zone. He's not that bad alone, but every mob respawned in that room at the worst possible time. They all started to attack me because Bard songs create a lot of aggro here on P99. All the healers ran out of mana trying to keep me alive, and then it just cascades. I die, aggro transfers to everyone else, the whole group wipes, and death number 4. Mercer and a druid in our group pulled all the corpses to the zone line, which was much appreciated, but geez, this game is really hard. You make a lot of progress and then lose it all in one death, over and over again. And then one last pull basically ended the group. I accidentally fell off into the stream, and the mod pathing went all wrong, as is usual here. And I just decided to book it to the zone line, because ads are definitely coming. I drop aggro by zoning out, and then see one of the legendary Crushbone trains. Choo-choo, man. Man, I probably ran to the zone line like 5 to 6 times this day. You've never played EverQuest until you've experienced a train. And the absolute worst zones 4 trains are the ones with just one way in and one way out. Everything slams to it. And if you zone in at the wrong time, you're going to need new underwear. So the group pretty much ended there outside the zone in. I farmed the last bit of experience to get level 10, and I got the dodge and meditate skills. Meditate helps casters regen mana quicker when sitting. It doesn't really work on bards, but it helps you load songs faster. And then I ran to Kaladin and turned in all the belts I'd earned. Good experience, but not as much as when I was lower level. I'm probably just going to sell any belts I get now, because the money is more important. Logged on a bit later and then got lucky with another power level. Found a group quickly at wall and got a huge cleric hit point buff, so it became a lot less squishy. Then this higher level bard, Rampagius, pulled mobs for us. He was trying to power level this one mage in our group, I think. So he held aggro and we beat the swarm all down over and over. So thank you for that experience. Got to level 11. The next day, I was close to getting to 12, so I just soloed a bit. I didn't want to be in a group for hours. And the ding was a team effort. One guy got overwhelmed by the orc trainer, who's still higher in level than me, ran him all the way to the zone out, and I thought to try out the swarm kiting technique. It didn't work well. Right before I thought about zoning, this guy, Datalizer, showed up and rooted him. Game on. No way I could face tank this mob, but I could dot it to death, so I stood just out of range and kept up the AoE dot. Datalizer kept him rooted. Root broke a couple times, but it went all well. Trainer started to flee, went at low health, and it was over. Ding 12. Got the forage skill, and it'll randomly give you food and drink when you're successful. And later that day, I actually stream sniped Nathan Napalm and Renfail. I guess they have a thing going on Friday nights. But before I close up the video, when the Jelinek server opens, I will be exclusively playing there until certain milestones are done. My plan is just to play and record content as I go, and then make all the videos and release them all at once, kind of like a Netflix season. I'll try to come back to P99 after that. But as promised, the 4 reasons I regret playing Project 1999 right now. There were 4 deaths, so 4 punishments.
You don't bite your tongue.
Just go. Oh, now the other one, because I have 4. I have 4.
I can't do this one.
Go. Oh. Go, just go. Oh, okay. You gotta do a second one. Oh.
Other side.
Oh, this is horrible. What do I do for the videos, man? Oh.
Oh yeah. Beautiful.
This is horrible. This is actually the worst one. I'd rather take the eggs, man. You can slap me any day, just not this. It's ready to burn too.
It's burning, that's not good.
Yeah.